Strong values and strong opinions. The Mike Broomhead Show. KTAR News, 92.3 FM, and the KTAR News app.
Hey everybody, it's Kristin Bentz back in for Mike Broomhead today at KTAR. We're talking about student loan repayments. Student loan payments are going to hit the economy, but just how much will take a toll? So this has been kind of controversial. It really shouldn't be, but it is. And so in my capacity as a retail analyst, and that was my previous life before I came back to Arizona from being a Sun Devil and working on Wall Street and coming back and raising two little ones. And I kind of know a little bit about this. And so most of you listening either have student loans that are coming due or know someone that has student loans coming due. So they've been in forbearance for about 3 years. And now you probably have received by now basically a note from the government saying that, or from your lender, that's telling you that you've got to start repaying your student loans. So on average, the payment that's about to hit borrowers is between $500 and $700 a month. And, you know, a lot of these economists out here, and here's the thing about economists that's fun. They never tell you what's going to happen. Okay? If I found an economist that told me what was going to happen, my life would be much better. However, they're very backward looking. So they're the ones that tell you, oh, well, this happened 3 months ago and this happened 4 months ago. Well, I'm going to tell you what probably will happen. I come out of the retail industry by trade. And so the way I see consumers in the economy is about 6 months ahead of time. When you're putting out a new product, when you're putting out apparel, when you're putting out jewelry, you're putting out footwear, everything on your calendar comes 6 months early. So that's kind of how I made my name on Wall Street, because I could see things before Wall Street guys do. So it's not going to be great when people have to start paying their student loan repayments back. So a lot of these economists are saying, oh, well, it's really only 1%, and it's not really a big deal of their income. 1% of whose household income? That's the question. So a lot of folks are saying, well, only if you had a really high-powered degree from a Brown or a Harvard or an East Coast university that cost a lot more money. Your student loan payment would hit you harder versus having a really great buy-in education like I did at Arizona State University, or a GCU, something like that, or an NAU, that your loan payment is going to be a little bit easier to manage. I don't think that makes sense. I think no matter who you are, consumers are paying an extra $700 a month out of pocket just to live your life, okay? That's food inflation, fuel, and housing. And whether or not you're weathering, interest rate payments on your mortgage, or whether you had a rent spike like a lot of us did in the Valley that was historic, that's going to hit you hard on top of everything else. So you add another $700 on top of that, and 45% of student loan borrowers are saying that they're going to have to choose between paying their food bill or paying their student loan payment. Think about that for 1 second. That is alarming. So it's my contention that September and October, when all of these forbearances end and these payments resume, you're going to see a huge hit to retail, footwear, services. That's DoorDash. That's Airbnb especially. And in the Valley, something that's very interesting to note that a lot of folks aren't talking about, Miami and Phoenix, or Maricopa County, are the number 1 and number 2 markets, respectively, for Airbnbs. And that's turning over right now. So all of these low interest rates during COVID, a lot of folks decided, you know what, I'm going to pick up a house on the cheap and I'm going to rent it out. But they weren't really banking on what's happening in the economy, massive inflation, gas prices, et cetera. So that discretionary income that everyone was so excited about, along with record temperatures in the Valley, didn't exactly help, exacerbated that. So now you have a lot of folks that are long 3, 4, 5 houses with these ridiculous mortgage payments. And those Gen Zers, those millennials that might be traveling and having Airbnb trips for a Taylor Swift concert, Airbnb trips for Beyonce that might be renting your property, that's drying up very, very quickly. And that's something that I'm paying attention to in the Valley that could really affect you, the local Valley consumer, especially if you're into the real estate market. So that's just one aspect. Then you take a look at companies like Nike, right? And then the teen retailers, they could get hit. And especially apparel in general, it has really taken a hit within the last year. I saw an article that was talking about discretionary spending and, what people had really been spending on. They're really not spending on apparel like you would think. Also, we can take a look about the back to school selling season. So ASU is in full swing. My kids have been in school for 3 weeks. On the East Coast, they haven't even started to talk about back to school yet. So there's a very interesting lag time afoot here with back to school. So 23 out of the past 29 selling seasons, just to get a little meta on you, that's indicative of how the holiday selling season will go. Now, if any of you are on social media, if you're on Instagram, not necessarily TikTok, but TikTok, look at all the promotions that are happening now. I have never, in all of my years of being a retail analyst, social media, non-social media, I have never seen such a promotional environment. And you would think during COVID, you would see a lot of this, right? Amazon started their deals days in the middle of July. Then they had that weird thing that they're doing in October. They're going to anniversary that again. So I have never seen so many promotions from a retail aspect on Instagram and TikTok. Do you know why they do this? They want to pull those dollars forward because retailers are not your friend. They want your money. Okay? I know it's a conspiracy theory, but this is why you have me, to give you the deets. So they want to pull those dollars forward. That's what we use in the retail community. We want to pull your dollars forward before you get slammed with those student loan payments. And that's going to hit restaurants, it's going to hit retail, it's going to hit services, and it's not going to be pretty. So I'm very curious out there, and you guys can reach out to me on social media if you want. On Twitter or X, I'm Kristin Bentz. On Instagram, I'm Kristin C. Bentz. Feel free to tell me what you're seeing out there. I have a lot of questions as a mom on back to school since I have two 15-year-olds. And where do we go to get the best deals? So when you see all these promotions happening, do we buy now? Last year we had such an issue with supply chain. And so that's kind of been alleviated. In the last retail earnings reports with Target and Walmart, they're very happy where their inventory is. And my advice to you is if you buy it now, I think the deals are going to get better.